Okay, so this is going to be the notes for completing the square. It's going to be part 3 or worksheet 3. Okay, so number one here, I'm putting an easy problem that we actually know the answers for, or we're going to get the answers a different way, but then we're going to do it completing the square, because you're not going to get these easy problems like this. Okay, so over here, this problem, I'm going to solve it by factoring. This quadratic is factorable, right? So let's do it over here by factoring. X squared plus 8x plus 15 equals 0. See? You can factor this out. But that's not going to be the case on the problems today. I'm just making a point you'll see right now. You're not going to have problems that are factorable. But I'm just going to show you. So everybody agree this is 5 and 3? Because 5 times 3 is 15, and because 5 plus 3 is an 8. This one's factorable. You've been doing problems that you factor. Okay. The ones you're going to see now are not factorable, okay? And if that's true, then we're going to get the answers right away. Are the answers positive 5 and positive 3? No, right? Remember, you got to put this one equal to 0. You got to put this one equal to 0. It's actually the opposite, right? What's the answer for this one? Negative 5. That's one solution, right? Remember, when it's quadratic, you're going to get 2 answers. And what's the answer for this part or this parentheses? Okay. Okay, so this is an easy one. This one's factorable, but I'm telling you the ones you're going to see in your work, they're not. Okay, now we're going to do the same problem by completing the square. Well, yeah, it's going to seem longer completing the square, but I'm telling you the problems that you're going to get, this is the way to go, completing the square, because they're not going to be factorable. They're not going to have these nice solutions like this. Okay, we're going to do the same problem by completing the square. Now, what you're going to see on your assignment is whatever number's here, this number is not good. It's not good. Okay, so what you're going to pretty much do is you're going to move that number to the other side. You only want your x squared and the x on one side. So it's going to be x squared plus 8x, and then throw that number to the other side. If it's positive 15 here, everybody agrees it's going to be negative 15 over there? Yeah. Then here's where you're going to say, okay, here's where you're going to say, I need to find a number that works nicely for me right here. Here's the part where you're going to start this completing the square process, which we've been doing, right, in these last couple of assignments. And what do you do to complete the square? Remember, you look at this middle number. If that's an 8, what's the parentheses, everybody? A 4 and a 4. I'm going to tell you right now, why is today's assignment going to be easy? Because all of them that are this middle term right here, guess what? They're going to be even, okay? It's going to be an even number, half of 8, 4, and 4, yeah? So if that's true, what's going to be the number that goes here? X squared plus 8x plus, what's the number that goes here, everybody? 16, right? Because the 4 and the 4 add up to 8, and then does everybody agree you added 16? Okay, but, I mean, you can do anything you want to an equation as long as you do it to both sides. If I add 16 to this side, guess what you have to do? Remember, you have that negative 15 over there? If I add 16 to this side, guess what you have to also do? Add 16 to the other side. Whatever you add here to complete the square, you have to equally add it to this other side. Does that make sense? All right. Now this is factorable. Can somebody tell me what this factors out to? Hello, you did it over here. You wrote it over here. What does this factor out to be? Isn't it x plus 4 squared? Yeah. You made this work so that it's a perfect square. Yeah, that's what we've been doing. You got x plus 4 squared equals what? 1, right? Because now we got to add these. You add whatever's up. 16 take away 15 is 1. And see, now you can solve this. Now that I have a perfect square here and a number over here, we solve it, which again, we've been doing this week. That's what we've been building up to do. How do you solve x plus 4 squared equals to 1? Well, you're going to give me two answers. Remember, there's going to be two answers. Don't you take the square root of both sides? Yeah? Don't you get x plus 4 equals what? Plus minus. Remember, nothing's going to tell you to do that. You got to know to put plus minus when you take the square root like that. When you have a squared and you take the square, it's going to be plus minus. 1 is a perfect square number. 1. We're going to get two answers here, right? We're going to get two equations here. One of them says x plus 4 equals the positive one. The other one is what? X plus 4 equals what? Negative 1. And what answers do you get? I get two answers here, right? You guys agree we get negative 3? And what? And negative 5. Okay, that's great. But remember we did this problem already? Remember we did this over here and we factored it when it was factorable? Look what the answers we had. Remember in the beginning when we did, I told you this one was factorable, right? Look at the answers when it's factorable. If you know how to factor, you're going to be done quick. The answers are negative 5, negative 3. Which we did this other technique. We still got the same what? We still got the same answers. Yeah? Okay. But I'm telling you that the problems you're going to do, you can't do it by factoring because they're not factorable. So this is the only way you can figure it out, completing the square. All right, let's look at another one. Number 2. We're going to do by completing the square. Here we go. M squared minus 20m plus 75 equals 0. What's the first thing you want to do? You want to have the part that's squared with the other m or x or whatever the variables on one side. Whatever number is here, move it to the other side of the equation, yes? Everybody agree? Then what? Complete the square. Complete the square and find out what needs to be added here, and then whatever you add here, you add the same thing over here. You do the same thing to both sides. Okay, well, I like this. This is an even number. Mm-hmm. If that's a negative 20, what's going to be the parentheses? You guys agree it's negative 10, negative 10? Half of 20 is 10? Yeah. And if these two add up to the 20, what's the number that has to go there? 100. You guys agree it's 100? Yeah, because 20 times 20, right? I mean, 20 times 20. 10 times 10. 10 times 10. So you add 100, right? You add 100 here, and whatever you add here, you have to add it to the other side of the equation, right? So you figured it out, what the completed square is. You have to add this number to make this happen. So what's left on this side of the equation? M minus 10 squared. equals, and then you figure out what that's going to give you. What's that going to give you? $25, right? 25. And then now you solve this. This is the problem we want. This is the problem we want, and now we got to solve it. How do you solve m minus 10 squared equals 25? Take the square root of both sides. That's going to be what? M minus 10 is equal to plus minus. Oh, 25 is a perfect square root. 5. We learned all this already, right? We're good with this. We know how to finish this. One of them is going to be what? M minus 10 equals the positive 5. The other one's going to be m minus 10 is equal to the negative 5. You're going to get m is equal to 15. And m is equal to positive 5? Yeah, positive 5. Do you know what it means when you get answers like this? What does it mean when you get these nice answers like this, when it's a positive or a negative whole numbers? Well, we just did it a little while ago. It means that this one was actually factorable. You just didn't know. You just didn't know that this one's factorable. But that's okay. We're not going to factor them anyways. This is just another one I wanted to throw out there just for practice. Now you're going to see these other ones are not going to give you answers like this. Okay? We're good on the steps. Everybody see what's going on? Yeah. Okay, number 3. Here we go. Now let's see some good ones here. How about this? R squared, right? They're going to just change the letter, but I don't care. That doesn't mean anything. R squared plus 6R minus 24 equals 6. They're going to try to fool you and put extra numbers or rewrite or write it all wrong or everything. What do you have to make sure that you have, the way it's set up? You have to move all the numbers to the right and make sure just the variables are left alone on this left side, yeah? So everybody agree this is going to be R squared plus 6R. Leave the R's there. Move this over there. That'll be 6 plus 24. That's going to be 30, right? You guys agree? Is that right? Yeah. And then right here we do what? Complete the square. I got to complete the square. If this is a 6, what's going to be in the parentheses? R what? 3 and 3. Oh, easy money right here. If this is 3 and 3, yeah, that adds up to 6. But what is the number that goes here then? 2, easy, correct. And then whatever you add to one side of the equation, you have to add it to the other side. All right. So we made this work out on this side. This is going to be R plus 3 squared equals what? 39. See, you're not going to get a perfect square number over here anymore. But this is where we want the problem to be. The square here and a number over here. How do you solve this? That's what's next. How do you solve it? Well, the same steps. R plus 3 squared equals 39. 39 does have factors, like 1 times 39 and 13 times 3. And I think that's it. None of them are gonna simplify it down. So it's not a perfect square number. So we are going to square root both sides. That'll be R plus 3 equals plus minus the square root of 39, right? You have to put the plus minus. Nothing's gonna tell you. And since this 39 doesn't break down and it doesn't simplify, you leave it like that. So what are the solutions? Well, you solve for r. You move this positive 3 over, it's going to be r is equal to what? R is equal to what? Negative 3 plus minus square root of 39. Just leave it like that. Everybody see how that worked out like that? You're not going to get these nice values, these numbers like that anymore. The answers are going to look like that. We're good? All right, let's pick it up a little bit more. Next one. What about this one? X squared plus 8x minus 38 equals 0. All right, let's go quicker now. We want to keep the variables here. Any numbers tossed to the other side. X squared plus 8x equals positive 38, right? And then now is where we have to do what? Complete the square. And I don't know what I have to add here, but whatever I add here, I got to add it over here. So that's why I put those two boxes. Oh, okay. And so you kind of have to look ahead to then come back and add this number. If that's an 8, oh, that's x plus 4, right? That has to be a 4 and a 4. So what are we adding? 16? Everybody good? Yeah. And on this side, I made this work out. So I got x plus 4 squared equals 54. 54. Okay, so now I got to solve this. I got it. This is what I want. This is good. Now I got to solve it. That's going to be x plus 4 squared equals 54. Okay, square root both sides. And you're going to get x plus 4 equals plus minus. Remember, nothing's going to tell you to do that. You have to know. X plus 4 is equal to the square root of 54. Yeah? All right. Now, do not move this number over until you're finished with this side. Is 54 a perfect square number? No, it's not. It's not. It's not a perfect square number. But you can simplify. You can simplify 54. Anybody know how to simplify 54? Huh? You don't know times tables? 9 times 6 is 54. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So that's going to be, leave this still, x plus 4 equals plus minus. That's going to be 9 times 6. You guys agree like that? I'm just going to split them up already. Everybody agree 54 is 9 times 6? Which one has a root? Which one's a perfect square? The 9. So does everybody agree it's x plus 4 is equal to what? Plus minus what? 3 root 6. That is correct. That is correct. Now, once this is done and there's no more simplifying to do, now you move this over and you solve for x. Final answer, somebody, what is it going to be? X is equal to what? X is equal to what? Negative 4 plus minus 3 root 6. That's what it's going to look like. We got it? Okay, last one. This one's going to be, the last one's going to have something like this and even something else. Any questions here? All right. All right, last one, 5. What about x squared minus 12x plus 96 equals 6? Well, that's going to be x squared minus 12x equals, isn't that going to be 6? And then take away the 96 because this goes to that side. That's going to be negative 90. Is that right? Yeah, negative 90. Okay. Now I got to complete the square. X squared minus 12x plus, I don't know yet. I got to add something there, equals negative 90. And then I got to also add that same number on this side. Okay. 12. That's an even number. That's going to be x minus 6. That's going to be x minus 6. If that's 6 and 6, what are you adding to both sides? 36, right? Is that right? Yeah. So that's going to be, what do we do over here on this side? We completed the square. X minus 6 squared. I like that. Equals, what do you get when you add that? Negative 54. Oh, negative. Oh, negative. Okay, we got to solve this now. How do we solve that? Well, here we go. X minus 6 squared equals negative 54. We're going to take the square root of both sides. That's going to be x minus 6 is equal to plus minus, nothing's going to tell you, you have to know, the square root of negative 54. Anybody remember what we do with the negative? It turns into, remember, I squared is equal to negative 1. It turns into a I squared. So it's really going to be plus minus 54I squared. Yeah? That negative is like a negative 1. And negative 1 is I squared. So you just put an I squared like that. And now, didn't we just do 54? Wasn't 54 9 times 6? Yeah, we just did one with 9 times 6. So that's going to be x minus 6 equals plus minus 9 times 6 times the I squared, right? Just split this all up. Look at them all. Look at them all in pieces like that. Yeah. Just separate them up like that. 9 times 6 times I squared. Which of these has perfect squares? The 9 and the I squared. So this is going to be x minus 6 is equal to plus minus. And the ones that have perfect squares, write them up in the front. Isn't that going to be 3i? Because the square root of 9 is 3. And the square root of I squared is I. And the root 6 that didn't come out goes last like that. Yeah? And once this side is simplified, then you move this number over. Final answer is x is equal to what? If that's a negative 6, then that means when you move it over here, it's going to be 6 plus minus 3i root 6. Boom, boom, boom. All right, there it is. Putting it all together, and it's all right here, worked out in these problems. Completing the square.